Hello, I'm Jason Redman. I'm the founder of Wounded Wear and the Combat Wounded Coalition, and today we're talking about another partner profile. You know, one of the big missions of the Combat Wounded Coalition is helping our warriors rediscover that hero within through those four pillars. Pillars of pride, power, purpose, and peace. And ultimately our vision is to help every warrior find that purpose and peace. And purpose is found through jobs, education, and housing. And that end state is that peace that is found where you can negate those invisible wounds of war that every warrior feels that has been out there on the battlefield. So we're really proud to be able to announce one of our newest partners is Eagles Healing Nest out of Minnesota. Eagles Healing Nest is truly an icon of trying to help our warriors find their way under our peace program, to move forward and negate those invisible wounds of war. So many warriors are coming home and they're struggling because they're self-medicating. They're going to the VA, they're not getting the support that they need, they're not finding it elsewhere, they're struggling to find a job, and they start thinking about what they've been through and where they're trying to go. And of course, many of them are turning to alcohol, many of them are turning to drugs, many of them are finding themselves homeless, and they're looking for support. Eagles Healing Nest is providing an amazing program where they're bringing these young men and women in, and even some of our older Vietnam veterans who still are struggling. And they're bringing them in and they're giving them an environment where they can take care of them, where they can help them with any substance abuse problems. They can give them purpose once again, and ultimately help them find that peace that they can get back out and live greatly and overcome and become an amazing productive member of society to find that purpose and peace. So take a few minutes, watch this great video that highlights what Eagles Healing Nest is doing. And if you are a wounded warrior and you are out there and you're struggling with substance abuse, you're struggling with alcoholism, you have found yourself homeless, or you're looking for answers, the Combat Wounded Coalition is proud to have partnered with Eagles Healing Nest, and we can help you get to them and find that peace that you're so desperately looking for. So I appreciate the support, and this will be our next partner profile, Eagles Healing Nest.
Yeah, just I'll save a bed for him, and just call and confirm that he's coming, and to tell him to give him my cell phone number, which is what you're dialing now, and tell him to just stay in touch with me along the way, so that I know that he's, that he's safe and that he's okay, and about an estimated time of arrival that he'll be here.
Melanie Butler fields calls like this one every day. Her passion and advocacy for our veterans grew out of almost losing her own son. With two other sons and a husband in the military, Melanie found herself surrounded by vets trying to heal from the deep and sometimes hidden wounds they had sustained not only in their bodies, but in their minds. Her home got a little crowded at times.
Okay, just let me know for sure that he's coming. Have him give me a call on my cell and keep me posted along the way, okay? And he can let him know that he can call my cell day or night along the way if he starts to struggle, okay?
Melanie teamed up with Diane Gates, a drug and alcohol counselor since 1995. They dreamed about putting together a place that would give 8 to 10 vets a place to hang their hats and heal. The women never dreamed that they would soon be providing shelter and care for over 60 vets from all over the country and multiple wars. The Eagles Healing Nest was just meant to be.
But I didn't know that we're not dragging them off the street in here. Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them come right off the street.
Wow.
But for the most part, they've lost their housing, they've lost family. Families have broken up and they've come here from there. So, I mean, there's a lot of, there's all different circumstances that they come from, so.
Basically, I had, when I got out of the military, started trying to get help from the VA and everything, and they wouldn't help me. I've been homeless on and off since then, was driving truck for a while. My back and neck can't really handle it much more, so
Yeah.
I had gone to treatment, and when I got out of there, tried to get help for getting someplace, and the VA wouldn't help me, and so I was at the Salvation Army for 2 days, and Homeless Connection was going on. Went down there, talked to Mel, and she brought me home that night.
There was failure of the government keeping their promises, failure in the VA system, fear in the VA system. But where they always felt at peace was with each other. And it didn't matter how ugly it was, they would still reach out to someone else that they served with.
Well, like I said, I was at the group residential housing in St. Cloud, and I wanted to work my way out of it, but I wasn't allowed to.
The Eagles Healing Nest, called simply the Nest by residents, is housed in a sprawling old girls' school on 124 acres outside of Sauk Center, Minnesota. They began in 2012 by leasing 2 buildings, but are now in the process of purchasing the entire property, placing it in a trust, and expanding their services to include even more vets. Word is growing that the Nest is both a home and a place to heal.
Faith means looking at the end of the tunnel and seeing that little flickering light and having faith that it's not a freight train.
At the Nest, well, I've been having problems with alcoholism, and I was homeless since December. And I finally went into detox, and they sent me over to Regions Behavioral Health. And there's a lady, Christine, that works down there that's part of the Nest.
The need is huge. On any given night in our great nation, over 40,000 vets are homeless. Over 30,000 Vietnam vets still suffer from PTSD. And our younger men and women are now paying a heavy price for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. 300,000 vets since 9/11 suffer from traumatic brain injury. National efforts do not begin to serve the need.
The stuff I went through with the VA just kind of like shoved me off. I tried doing outside counseling, and my biggest thing was, you went to school so you can learn how to deal with people like me, but you've never been in a combat zone, you've never been shot at, you've never held your buddy dying in your arms. How are you supposed to teach me how to feel about that? You don't understand, and so that's how this last time happened. I showed up at my mom's doorstep at like 2 in the morning, and I said, hey, I need a place to crash because, whatever. And the next day she said, I can offer you a roof over your head, but I can't offer you any help with what you're going through because I've never experienced that. I've never, been there. I've never done that. Yeah. She's like, let me tell you about this place called the Eagles Nest, because I guess like the church is linked up with them that she attends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she brought me here, and I had a talk with Mel and Todd, and I told them to give me like a day or 2 just to get my affairs in order. And then I came back, and that was, I believe it was June 12th. January 12th. So I've been here about 4 months now.
So that's the difference, I think, between the two. And Hazelton's the same way. I mean, my first one was Hazelton, $38,000 treatment program. 28 days, they walk you right out, regardless where you're at. And they will send you right back into a bad environment, or whatever.
We got a lot of young veterans, my pals here, my comrades, that I just sit down and kick it with every day. I ask them, how you doing?
Well, and it's not a cookie cutter program either. I mean, it's geared towards what the clients need or what the veterans need.
The Eagles Healing Nest is first a home. One of the few mandated requirements is 2 meetings a week and getting out of bed each morning. Sobriety First provides an outpatient treatment option, and multiple other healing approaches are offered mostly by volunteer professionals who donate their time. The Nest operates on the belief that vets know best what vets need.
Put in their past a multitude of ways to heal, and they'll find what works for them to bring them peace and take them back to their families, and give them purpose and hope again.
I do a lot of AA meetings here. We do a lot of one-on-ones, whether it's with staff or your peers. And we have what I love is we have a thing here called Vets for Vets on Monday and Thursdays. It's when we sit around and we talk and we chat about anything.
I always tell them, I don't care what they diagnose you with. I believe that you're much more than that.
The old girls' school requires lots of work, upkeep, and remodeling. The perfect place to engage the mind and hands of people healing from trauma. The residents do the work, building, cooking, grounds care, and whatever else needs to be done. This leads to healthy engagement and reduced costs.
and it's worth it. You know, we're not just a bunch of guys sitting around. We're working, we're doing things, and we're healing, more important than anything. You know, and that's the name of the place. How appropriate is that? It's the healing nest, and that's what we're doing. We're healing.
Each and every day that you wake up and take a breath is a gift. And, you know, I realize that now. I think at the time that I was going through what I was going through, it didn't feel that way. I was going through a divorce. I was dealing with the military sexual trauma part of things. My cousin passed away, who's about 2 years older than I am. I was losing my house. You know, I had nothing. I had no place to go. And to come here and to have a place that you belong, where, you know, there's 40 some guys that consider me to be one of them, is just, it's priceless. And I shouldn't say everybody, I can't think of taking my own life because that would be selfish to them.
The men, and more recently the women, who find their way to the Eagle's healing nest will stay as long as they need to. The goal is to see them all return to their families and lead productive and satisfying lives out there.
I'm the only one in my family, my personal family, that talks to all my family. Now I'm talking to all my family, to all my brothers and sisters at home.
That's what it's about.
And this has helped me with that.
We wanted never for them to feel that they didn't have a place to come, or that it wasn't home, or to judge them based on a diagnosis or their income.
And I look back the way I feel now compared to 3 months ago, man, it's a major difference. You know, there's not a thought of suicide on my mind.
I kind of expected that I would be the outsider, just being female and, you know, and all of that. And it was the complete opposite. I mean, I think I sat in our morning meditation a couple days ago and I said, you know, I just want y'all to know that you're my brothers, my uncles, and my crazy cousins, and you're my dysfunctional family, and, you know, I love y'all to death, and, you know, I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so blessed to be here because y'all have made me feel so welcome.
Every single day, and Melanie says she started this on A Wing and a Prayer, and to be honest, every month we continue to provide what we do here on A Wing and a Prayer. We will go through times where we seem to be getting a lot of donations coming in and stuff like that, and everything seems to be working out. But then we go through months like we're kind of going through right now, where we're just struggling, you know. And
so we pay a little over $15,000 to purchase it every month, and then depending if it's winter or summer, so it takes about $30,000 to $35,000 to operate
on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis.
The circle of support around the nest continues to grow. Grateful family members and compassionate citizens, both from the local area and beyond, continue to provide a grassroots support in the way of money, furniture, time, food, and whatever else the nest needs. But as their success grows, so does their need. Melanie will not put down that phone or turn a veteran in need away. She recognizes it as a matter of life or death.
You know, people say you can't do it this way. I say there's no other way to do it. We don't turn them away based on their availability to pay, so that's why we always say that we do it on a wing and a prayer, because at the end of the month, if there's not enough funds, I do a whole lot of praying. Yeah. You know, this stuff, this paper stuff, I just wait. They come first. They have to come first.
Some of us need a little more care or help than others, and I really appreciate it. I'm coming up on 3 years sober. Well, it's been, wow, years since that's ever happened, so years. So it feels really good, and yes, I am happy to be in this house too. Thank you, guys.
We should never be ashamed of our heroes, and we should never turn our back on them.